I'm enjoying Cyberpunk. It's a great game, although it's a messy, bug-infested experience. It provides epic moments and is at the end of the day one of the best games of this generation. Even though I'm not sure which generation that is. PS4, RTX, Series X, PS5, whatever. First of all, why would you release the game on outdated consoles that would never give you the real experience the devs designed? Well, for money, obviously. But in the long run, money is lost in the scandal, and CD Projekt missed a great opportunity to be a sales booster for newer consoles. The ones in stock, at least. They could have just made it work nicely on PS5 and Xbox Series, which definitely have the power necessary to render the game like it's intended to be played. That was a big fail for CD Projekt, but also, if not more, for Sony and Microsoft, but we'll get to that later. Why would you promote the game as revolutionary, with never-seen-before open-world realism, when in the end, the AI and bug level are from 20 years ago? What happened to, hey, we are the Witcher guys, we are doing a Cyberpunk game, and we got Keanu Reeves? That was it, you don't need anything more. The first problem here is clearly marketing. Marketing is great when it's a tool used to creatively reach customers and bring excitement to a product. But when you overpromise about something you haven't done, something that you have no idea how good it will be, it's not marketing, it's just talking out of your ass. That's overconfidence. The Witcher 3 was a great and amazing success. They thought they could be on top of the open world genre on the first attempt, without any doubt, when these games still have tons of bugs, despite the fact that this studio responsible are working on it for so long now, like Rockstar. I mean, the bugs you see on Cyberpunk are basically the same that you will find on any Grand Theft Auto game, except on GTA you will find the bug like every 2 hours maybe. In Cyberpunk it's every 2 minutes. In my opinion, that overconfidence emerges from the Witcher legacy. The Witcher 3 was such an amazing success that it overshadowed the flaws of the game. Same flaws that you can find in Cyberpunk. I actually played The Witcher 3 and probably did a third of the game. Now wait before you judge me. First of all, I've played it on my OG Xbox One and the game worked fine I guess, but probably not good enough to keep me interested in some way. So The Witcher 3 was already a great game in terms of the hardware needed to fully enjoy it. Graphics can be really important if you want to be fully immersed in the atmosphere. And atmosphere is really where CD Projekt shines, with great design in general, outstanding music and sound, and of course brilliant writing, whether it's dialogue or scenario. But another reason I've stopped playing The Witcher 3 is also the main issue of Cyberpunk 2077. And this issue is called the freaking yellow marker. I mean, how can you ruin such an experience? You designed this awesome environment to be discovered, to get lost in. And what do? You take the player by the hand and force a big yellow dot on the screen and tell that player, go there, stupid. In The Witcher 3, problem is you really can't play without it in most cases, because you would have no clue where to go. It's doable, but it's not really well designed to play without it. In Cyberpunk, you simply can't remove it, and this ruins all the pleasure of finding out what's next. It prevents you to be attentive to the many details the game has to offer, because in the end you just need to go to the stupid marker. I mean, we're talking about super augmented transhumanism, cyber optics, Neuralink, fully loaded character, and really, we need a yellow marker too? Come on. You should at least offer the same option as the Assassin's Creed franchise does now, that is having an exploration mode versus guided mode. I don't want to be guided in Night City, I want to discover it myself. If I get lost, how about I check the map or ask for directions to a realistic random NPC? Forget it. You get GTA 3 bystanders and a yellow marker. This game design is almost as old as the AI found in Cyberpunk. It's tired, it's played out, it's the perfect opposite as the groundbreaking revolutionary experience promised. It is actually worse than the AI. Yes, the stupid AI also kills immersion, but at least it can provide a few laughs. The yellow marker is never funny. What would really be a revolution? Freedom. Let us play how we want in an environment that's complex. We don't need huge hollow cities full of generic side missions and 10 IQ bots. How about having just one small village? Just one neighborhood, but really detailed. Each and every place available to enjoy. Shops, places, offices, schools, banks. A real ecosystem to to interact with. You hear about graphics engines, physics engines, but where are the AI engines? We need that yesterday. We need systems to make the world more real. When I think about, for example, Metal Gear Solid 2, all the little details in the AI back then, to think that it was 20 years ago, it's really sad. We don't need always more FPS, more resolutions, more side quests. With every generation, we need better gameplay if possible. I'd rather get 10 hours of replayable gameplay with amazing details and perfect freedom rather than 150 hours of get from point A to point B following the yellow marker. Maybe it is a futuristic vision, meaning that society has made people so dumb in the future that this is what 2077 behavior is like, and CD Projekt is actually trolling. Who knows? But to sum up, in many ways, Cyberpunk is like The Witcher 3. Great game, great story, amazing atmosphere, but released with many bugs and a couple of gameplay flaws. None of that really matters because in the end, they are both great games that were or will be successful. I'm not worried about Cyberpunk because it's gonna get polished, no pun intended, and many more players will have the chance to experience it in a better way. First of all, because the game will be effectively better with time, but also because more and more players will have the chance to get themselves the hardware for it, whether it's PS5, Xbox Series, or a new graphics card. Good luck with that. A lot of people on the internet seems to forget about that simple fact. The vast majority of players haven't had the chance to get their hands on the game. And in the end, CD Projekt had some really bad publicity, but it's still publicity. What was the real reason for such a release? Where was the rush? Where was the opportunity? How could you spoil such a huge amount of outstanding work that's been done by Cyberpunk devs? Most of it is brilliant, by having such a catastrophic release. I just can't wrap my mind around it. How could you screw so badly the day one pre-order customers, the exact ones that should be the most cared about? For that, CD Projekt caught a lot of dirt. Not saying that they didn't deserve it for some part, but the issue might be more about the industry itself rather than one particular studio, especially one of the few that can provide great games. The video game industry is now bigger than every other entertainment industry, and it's only the beginning really, but it is also young and stupid. A big industry with big games, huge budgets. So you got investors, shareholders, all the not so good for the customer side of the business, meddling with creative control. I hope the industry can learn lessons from this. I just hope. Maybe the customers can learn from this too. First of all, why would we even allow the system of early access and pre-order? It is now the norm, even though it's probably the most shitty system ever. At least for the consumer it is. Say what you want about Hollywood. They are out of ideas, they have an agenda, etc. But at least they would never make you pay in advance for a movie that's not finished. And they would never release an unfinished movie. I mean, they can let out bad movies for sure. They can release a version disapproved by the director, but it's going to be a finished product. When you think about the PS4, Xbox One, Cyberpunk disaster, like how the hell is it even possible? Hypocritical Sony will take the game out of their stores. Oh yeah, we reacted. But wasn't it you guys that allowed the editor to sell the game worldwide with the PS4 logo on it? Next time maybe just send one guy to CD Projekt to make sure the game is actually done before allowing a release. Or maybe you don't have enough staff to send someone over to Poland. Have a guy in Japan try out the game before actually sending it on your store. How about that for a system? Stakeholders working together to provide a finished product to the consumer. We need to abort the existing system ASAP. Allow pre-orders only when the game is actually done and only the distribution is left to do. Forgetting about that nonsense day one patch that now editors take for granted like a way to finish the game. Like I stated, this industry is still young and dumb. Day one patch sounds like procrastinating students still finishing their paper half a second before the teachers take it from them. But when you are dealing with hundreds of millions of customers, a little bit of professional courtesy would be great. Now one can argue that the early access buy the unfinished game system allows small companies to fund development and raise money to improve the game. Personally, I like the old system better, where you need to find money first for a budgeted project you designed. Then you do the work, then you sell it. It's almost too simple, right? Maybe you're a small studio. Make a simple game. We don't necessarily need an 8K 144 FPS gigantic open world game to be a success. Make a first game that's simple but good. You will be able to get bigger later on if you actually do a good job. Thank God that's how a lot of companies are working now. But CD Projekt might be proof that growing too fast can be a predicament. Cyberpunk is one of the many proofs that the industry doesn't do good when a project is pulled by anyone else other than the devs. Expectations get stupid, investors and deadlines get in the mix, and you get crappy versions of what could be great games. People experience suffer and they lose interest in the end. The life cycle of the game is just not what it should be right now. Just have the editors push the game to us when it's actually done. Who cares if you need 1 or 2 more years to finish? We'll manage in the meantime. Me, I'm just gonna go and play The Witcher 3 again, with all the DLCs and with max settings this time. See ya!